Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Rock Video Rental. I am Brandon. With me, as always, is Caleb. And this week, we are continuing on with Awesomely Bad April, and we're talking about Champagne and Bullets. And oh man, that is a movie. But before we talk about that one, Caleb, you been watching anything good?
So not as much this week. I can't remember if I mentioned it last week or not. I've been watching Bob's Burgers for months, probably maybe even over a year now.
Yeah.
Um, but my wife has started watching it with me, so I restarted the whole thing and we're watching through it together. So it's kind of
Huh?
entertaining and fun to be able to watch that with her. She really, have you watched Bob's Burgers?
Yeah, I've seen a few episodes of it.
So my wife really likes the Louise character, the
Okay.
youngest kid. She
Hmm.
finds her funny. So we're watching that, watched a few episodes of that. Outside of that, nothing really. I didn't get to watch any of my anime stuff this week. It was just kind of busy because we started something new this week and I went back to the gym and I want to kill
Oh my
myself.
gosh.
Not really, but yeah, so that's been kind of an interesting thing. I'm a little surprised I haven't died yet, but we'll see how long that lasts.
Rock. Oh man, for me, I'm pretty sure it's going to be the last episode for this season of Yellow Jackets. It kind of wrapped things up nicely, so it's kind of sad if that's the last one because I was super into this season. Um, I watched the latest episode of Dark Side of the Ring. It was about Tony Atlas, and that was pretty good. I wasn't really sure what to expect with that one, but yeah. Then I watched a couple of WrestleManias. I watched WrestleMania 14 and WrestleMania 15. Just WrestleManias this weekend. I don't know. I felt like I was in the mood to watch it. And I like the Attitude Era the best, so I watched that. And then we've been watching My 600 Pound Life,
Okay.
just because it's something I have on, and I don't know. Interesting show. But that is pretty much it for me. I think it's time that we dive into the world of Champagne and Bullets.
You're on fire when I grab you by the hand. Your waist is moving with the rhythm of the band. My eyes swell up as you take me for a ride. Come on, pretty baby, let's do the shimmy slide.
Champagne and Bullets. It is from 1993. It is directed by John DeHart and James Paradise. The plot is two cops are fired after being set up by the corrupt boss, who gets appointed as judge, but secretly heads a satanic cult. After his wife is killed by the cult, one of the cops is determined to bring the cult down. I'm impressed that they wrapped up that plot because I kept waiting for this movie to have a point.
Yes. Thank you. Absolutely. I have in my notes multiple times. I was like, where's the conflict? When does the conflict start? Like what is happening? What's the point? Like they had a tie-in to it pretty early,
Yeah,
but then they just like they didn't make a point of contention. They didn't outline what was going on. I want to say what probably wasn't until about what 15 maybe 20 minutes left in the movie that they finally connected the dots on being like, "Oh, okay, so that
dude, it
satanic
was
cult."
basically 10 minutes.
Yeah, but the plot that you just read basically was not revealed until yeah, potentially even just 10 minutes left in the movie where it's just like, "Oh, Rick's wife, Cindy,
Hmm.
because she was a part of that cult and left or witnessed it or broke up that thing or whatever you want to say, they want to hunt her down and kill her. They never established that like earlier in the movie when she talked about that cult. They never like established the whole thing on like, oh, I'm on the run from these guys or like, oh, they're dangerous, like they might kill me. Like there was none of that. She just said, oh yeah, I got sucked into this satanic cult but then I got out of it.
Yeah. And then the guys that were at the bar, she said, that talked to her
Yeah.
were from that cult.
Did
And
they?
then he's just kind of like, oh, well, we'll work through this.
Yeah. Did they say anything about that at in the bar though?
No. Nope,
Okay,
she didn't say that until she was sitting on that swing with
that's what I thought.
him. Yeah.
So really, you just because I wrote down while we because it was going on for so long because I was like, okay, so the movie sets up at the beginning. It's just like, okay, these guys are gonna get like kicked off the squad, and then they're gonna like go back and try to, take out that dirty cop, and then they completely like don't even bring up the dirty cop for I don't even know how long. And then
Yeah.
they're at the bar, and then they run into that gang of like douchebags who go after Sydney, and you're like, oh man, maybe they're gonna have this conflict with this gang, and that's gonna be the point of contention. No, nope, they keep
Nah,
going,
nah,
and
nah.
I'm just like, dude, make up your mind. There's no point in me watching this. Like, if we were not watching this for this podcast, I would have. I don't even know how many times I would have turned this movie off because it's just like what's the point? There's nothing drawing me in to keep watching this movie.
Oh man. Yeah, totally. So before we get too far, I never said the cast, I just realized. I
Yeah.
was such a hurry to talk about this movie.
Hmm.
So the cast, we got John DeHart as Rick Bodie, Wings Hauser as Huck Finney, what a name. William Smith as Normad, another great name. Pamela Jean Bryant as Cindy, Elaine Young as Laney, and Jimmy Williams as Scar.
Great name there, Scar.
Yeah.
Good one.
It's like Scar, you got two henchmen. One of them looks like Fabio, and the other one has this big scar on his face. I wonder which one's Scar.
um,
Uh,
it's talking about cast and everything real quick.
yeah.
So you explained this. I don't think you used this terminology exactly when discussing this at the end of last episode, but this is a clear vanity project.
Yeah, that's what I couldn't think of last week is, yeah, definite vanity project, along the lines of The Room.
Yes, but the thing that cracks me up right now looking at this, because what this came out in '93, right? I
Mm-hmm.
think
Mm-hmm.
this was a huge vanity project, but John DeHart isn't even pictured in the cast. Like on IMDb, it was
Oh, he
this
doesn't have
movie.
a picture?
Yeah, like it
You know
was
why? Because he doesn't pay for IMDb Premium. That's what it is.
really.
That's why they have pictures. Yeah.
I didn't realize that. That's hilarious. So
Yep.
he did all this work for this vanity project, but then he's like, IMDb Premium.
Yeah,
Nah.
you know what he's doing these days?
No,
He's
what?
a lawyer.
Oh my gosh.
He's a lawyer, dude.
Good night. Well, at least he's doing something he can make some money on because he definitely did not make money on this movie.
This is the only movie he did. So it was written, directed, produced, starring, and the score and soundtrack was all done by John DeHart.
Oh
And I
my
mean, the music, we'll get to that.
gosh.
Like, we'll get to that. Um, yeah, this is super low budget, obviously.
Bad.
Um, very, very amateur, obviously.
Bad.
Um, but dude, to be honest, like some of the quality of it isn't like the resolution and everything isn't horrible. I mean, it was shot on 16 millimeters, so I mean it's somewhat professional compared to like shot on video horror schlock that I've seen, like Video Violence
Oh yeah.
or Sledgehammer, where it's just like super grainy and like it's never gonna look great because it was shot on VHS. I mean, at least this was shot on film.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, okay. If we want to talk about some of the things that worked out relatively well, um, how it was shot going into that aspect realm, like a lot of these movies at this level, I guess you want to say, the lighting can be so bad.
Oh yeah.
And they actually executed well in this one. Like you could see most everything. and so it, like somebody wasn't like totally in shadow and that harsh light and those kind of things.
Yeah.
So definitely props on that. On the flip side, real quick, because this started off real quick, the audio was absolutely horrible at different
Oh, the
times.
audio was atrocious. It's like they didn't even have like a boom mic operator. It's just like they just had a guy holding a tape recorder or something.
Well, the worst part was actually at the beginning, and so it like prepares you for the whole thing is the courtroom scene, where Normad, the dirty cop, is trying to frame Rick and Huck.
Yeah.
And so when the camera is not on the judge and Normad is speaking to the judge, like they have some back and forth, but the
Yeah.
only audio that you can hear well is Normad, even though you can barely understand what he's saying because he's like, I don't know, he like swallowed razor blades or something as his vocal cords were completely wrecked.
I just started referring to him as Raspy Rasperson.
Right. But you could hear him audibly, like he was loud enough, but then
Hmm.
when he would pause and you could hear the judge in the background saying something, but half the time I couldn't even hear what he was saying because like you said, there was no mic on him.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And then like the background music was so loud sometimes.
oh yeah.
Like you really couldn't hear anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was so distracting at times. And I mean, the music again, we'll get to that. That's a huge thing I don't want to like skip over. Um, I thought it was funny the fact that Wings Hauser is in this,
Okay.
and Wings was in a fair amount of stuff, like a lot of B movies. I mean, this is like a Z movie, so I'm really surprised that he was in it. Um, I mean, he was never in anything like incredible. He was in a few episodes of Roseanne, and basically just like a bunch of low level movies. But like to go down this low, I'm like, then I started wondering if he was actually like drunk as hell the entire time he made this, because his
Yeah.
character was drunk all the time. But
Yep.
yeah.
So you mentioned The Room a little bit ago,
Hmm.
when we were talking about vanity projects. I did not really think that I'm about to say some things that I never really expected to say. Um, but we may have found a worse lead actor than Tommy Wiseau.
Dude, I'll give Tommy Wiseau some credit because at least he overacted everything.
Yes.
And he overacted everything. His timing was awkward, and like some of the stuff he said was just alien. But um
At
John
least he
DeHart was
acted.
just wooden as crap.
Oh my gosh. It was so bad. oh man. Oh man. Just,
Well, and it's just like sometimes too, like it was like he's just having a regular conversation. So like he would mess up what he was saying and go back over what he was saying.
yep.
He'd
Oh,
be
and
like, this is how I'm talking." And like they just kept that take.
yeah. It seems like I don't know if it was his decision on being like, oh yeah, I know I did good enough, or he's just like, or other people are just like, we're not putting up with this crap. Call it good. We're done.
Well, I don't know if anybody noticed watching this, but Rick Bodie is the greatest man who ever lived. He does no wrong. He is
The biggest ladies man.
oh yeah, he's the ladies' man. He's an epic singer. Um, he's a martial artist.
He knows how to use a bow and arrow.
Yeah, apparently he's yeah, like you said, ladies' man. Yeah, he knows how to use that just sunk in. Knows how to use a bow and arrow. Oh my gosh. Um, he's hilarious. Let's not forget that.
Oh
He's
yeah,
a comedian.
he's got the jokes. He's a comedian.
Yeah.
Yep.
Everybody loves him. He's the guy that all the women want and all the guys want to be. Uh, basically, he's like the perfect human being. Much like how Johnny was in the room.
That's right. Except for he's not closing big deals with big clients and making a ton of money.
Yeah, that he can't talk about. So anyway, how's your sex life? Well,
Oh,
that
perfect
well, if you
setup.
didn't know that Huck Finney's ex-wife is sleeping with everybody, possibly Rick.
Yeah.
That whole scene. Oh my gosh. Oh God. I'm pretty sure after watching this that John DeHart decided to make this movie to promote his music and to have multiple intense graphic sex scenes with a Playboy playmate.
Oh man, I do you have not to ruin your facts and trivia, but do you have information on how old he was and how old she was when they made this?
Not off the top of my head. I didn't have anything. I don't really have much for facts and trivia. I mean, I'll just give the one I have right now.
Okay.
This is the only movie that he directed. In addition, he was his only main role in the movie. So
There you
that's
go.
pretty much the only thing he's ever done. But yeah,
Yeah,
I
like
don't know because he looked like he was her dad half the time.
oh, I know. Like I put down, I was just like, dude, you look like a creepy uncle or something. And the funniest part, one of the funniest parts to me was when she finally went to her dad's place and her
Yeah.
dad answered the door, and I'm just like, dude, he looks like he could be your dad's brother.
The
Daddy
dad is
issues
just
much?
her dad is just a complete and utter dick too.
Oh, and the
He's like,
worst
get out of
actor.
here. He's like, oh yeah, that's oh my gosh, I had that in my notes. Like, um, I'm pretty sure that the dad. So there was another guy too. I'd have to look through my notes. That I said might be a worse actor than Jeff from Miami Connection,
Oh
and that's
yeah,
saying a lot.
that is saying a lot.
Oh, the nun, the woman who played the nun. I said is the worst actor I've ever seen. It's like she's right up there with Jeff from Miami Connection. And then it was soon after that, the dad. I'm like, oh my god, the dad is a horrid actor as well.
hmm
I mean, John was bad, but
But he
he's
tried.
still he tried, and he was still a little bit better than the guy who played Jeff in Miami Connection. A friend.
Oh my gosh.
The nun was so wooden.
hmm
Oh god, there's so many like off the wall bizarre things in this movie. Um, and so many we've already touched on some of them. So many things that really made me think of The Room, especially like the sex scenes.
Oh my gosh.
One of them was like legit 5 minutes long when they're in the bathtub. But
Yeah.
that was, I told you, because I had texted you while I was watching it, because I watched like the first half, and then I was like, okay, I can come back to this when I can pay more attention to it. And then I went back to it, and I'm like, this took like a hard left. Like, now it's like a Cinemax movie.
Yeah, it
Like a late
was.
night Cinemax movie, like softcore porn. Like she's straddling him in a bathtub, and like you don't see the bits, you know,
Yeah.
because of all the suds in the bathtub. But she's like grinding on top of him and like arching her back and like moaning and everything. And you see her topless, and he's just like groping her, and it was really uncomfortable.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's totally one of those things where it's just like this does not like this feels like he just paid her to be in this movie so he could do that.
What it made me think of was Lethal Weapon 5 in Danny DeVito's sex scene where he's like um thrusting on that woman and he's like
Oh
ooh,
yeah,
ooh,
okay.
ooh. That's what it made me think of.
I
Where
was
it's
trying
just
to
like Frank wanted to be in the movie just so he could have a sex scene with a hot woman.
oh gosh, yeah, I do remember that.
And that's basically it was about I think halfway through that sex scene I'm like I am very certain that John DeHart just made this movie so he could have these super graphic sex scenes with a former Playboy playmate.
Yeah, but then he didn't even try acting during it.
He was too
Like,
busy just like staring at her and like groping her.
oh man, I don't even
He was
know.
just taking it all in, dude.
Like, dude, if if he thought that that was anything like what should happen during, you know, that act, the act of
Yeah,
intercourse, then I
relations.
I think he should apologize to any woman that he has actually had a physical
Uh,
relationship with, because
yeah.
um yeah, that's not exactly how that's supposed to go.
I thought you were dating John. No, we broke up. Why? What happened? Well, we got intimate the other night, and he just stared at me without blinking the whole time.
Well, it's
It just
like
sat there while I did all the work.
there was, I did not watch a lot of the show of Two and a Half Men, but I do remember that there was a girl that what's his name? Charlie Sheen had
Yeah,
previously dated, who started dating the other guy, and she was really attractive, and Charlie Sheen was just like, "Hey, you know, don't worry, dude, like it doesn't bother me, like I'm not hurt, I'm not offended or whatever." And
yeah.
the joke was on him because Charlie Sheen didn't care because she did nothing. Like she just essentially what Rick was doing in the movie, just laying there and letting the other person do everything, was what the girl was like.
Oh God. Just a silent, motionless participant.
Oh my gosh, like
Oh God. And then after they get married, we get another one where she like starts off by stripping. And said, the wrestling fans will understand this. I said, I'm pretty sure this woman and Sable are the two examples of just because you're hot doesn't mean you can dance sexy. Which I, after I watched WrestleMania 15 today, I just made me think of that again because Sable kept trying to do like this weird hip swivel dance and it was so awkward and weird.
oh no.
She's also married to Brock Lesnar now. Sable is not
Congrats.
not the woman in this movie, but yeah.
Well, I think now is an appropriate time to talk about the music too, because he chose to make his own music for these graphic scenes.
Oh man, dude, the shimmy slide has been stuck in my head all week. So they go to a bar, and I've seen enough crappy movies to know when the characters, other characters, are begging the main character to get up on stage and sing, that it's gonna be horrible. So as soon as they're like, "Oh, you should go up there and sing us a song," and I'm like, "Yes." And then he's like, "No, I don't think I'm going to today." And they're like, "No, please go do it." And then when he goes up there, and he looks like a deer in the headlights, and he sounds like if Elvis got punched in the face about 16 times and he was drunk.
Oh man.
It was amazing.
It was, the music was probably like the saving element of this movie, where so much of it was just so bad, like bad in the realm of not entertaining enough to kind of keep you in the movie, but
Yeah.
the music kind of was that was single thread that kept everything together instead of falling apart.
There is a video on YouTube that is nothing but the shimmy slide for 10 hours,
Gosh,
if you're interested.
I'm good, but thanks for letting me know.
You're on fire when I take you by the hand.
Well, dude, what were the other ones like?
The one it's like, I'll be with you
I'll be with
always, or something.
you, and
That when she was, that was the bathroom sex scene, and that song, that horrible song was playing.
there
Um,
was another one that had some weird lyrics, and it's just like, and it was so loud too.
oh, the one. Okay, so there's one where they're like outside in front of a sunset, leaning up against this car, and I at first thought he was playing her the song, but then
Okay.
I realized that song was just put over a scene that had no audio, and it's just their silhouettes, and it lasts for like 2.5 minutes.
Yep.
I don't
I
remember
had
what
it. In my
song that
notes, I
was.
was just like, "Oh my gosh, the Sunset song! What the?"
Yeah, and I just put, why is this music so damn loud?
There was at some point too, at in here that he looked right at the camera. I can't remember what it was, but it was sometime
Yeah,
right
yeah.
after that, and I had in my notes, I was like, "Why is he looking at the camera?"
Yeah, gosh, what one was that? I had that in here in my notes too. Um,
And then she did it too, I think, in the bathtub scene.
yeah,
Like
I'm pretty
right at the
sure.
end of the bathtub scene, she like looked at the camera, and it's kind of like, yeah, she's probably kind of like, when is this
Okay,
going to be over?
it's that he looked. So she jumps into the bathtub with him, and she has a shirt on, and then he looks in the camera almost like, yeah, I can't believe this either.
Gosh.
And then I think it was the wedding night scene where she looks into the camera because I said like the song is horrible. I almost prefer that "You Are My Rose" song from The
Oh
Room.
gosh. Uh,
It's like, why do they always look in the camera?
so like right after going through, like, there's a spree of those graphic scenes, like
Yeah,
multiple in a row. I had in my notes that I think that there might be more topless scenes in this movie than actual bullets fired through the
and
entire
it's called,
movie.
yeah, it's called Champagne and Bullets.
Yeah. And should be topless and bullets because there's more topless than bullets.
Yeah,
Or it
because
should be
after his
champagne and
amazing,
topless. Yeah.
yeah, and the shimmy slide, um,
They did have a lot of champagne
he
though.
sings that, and then all of a sudden he walks off the stage, and like the instrumental version starts playing, and this random girl gets up and just rips her top off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all of a sudden, this is a topless bar?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the time when they were talking by the bar, I kept trying to see what arcade games were behind them.
Me too.
I think there was Dig Dug, which is a
Nice.
classic. Um, yeah, I got distracted by that. And then it's like, in that scene too, you see Cindy's mom, and I'm like, I wonder if that's John DeHart's actual wife.
Oh no.
Because they looked like they were the same age.
Yeah, they did. Like,
Oh, gosh.
I just, dude, there was, I mean, at the length that this movie went, I was really kind of surprised that he didn't try like shaving his head and just putting a wig on because he looked so his mustache was bad. He was like not in good shape. I don't
He
who
was like out of shape, in shape guy.
yeah, like he had strength. Like he's one of those things where you see somebody and you're just like, oh, they don't look very strong, but they have like that raw
Old
body
man
strength.
strength.
Yeah. Um.
Yeah. Where
Yeah.
it's like, when he had a tank top on at the end, it's like, okay, he's like a little flabby, because he's probably like 50 years old. It's
He
like,
looks
but
like
he's like got some decent like definition to his arms.
he looks like
He
Chuck
looks like a
Norris
lawyer
looks
who works out every once in a while.
right. He looks like Chuck Norris right now. When Chuck Norris is how old? 80?
80.
90?
Yeah. Oh man, that's hilarious. Oh gosh. So when it finally, they feel like they throw a lot of stuff at us. So it's like they're doing this drug bust, and Normad wants to like break in, and um Rick is like, well, we should have a warrant, and he's like, we'll get it after we get the drugs. We'll have so much they won't even care. It's like, okay, that guy's crooked right off the bat. And then Finney gets shot, and then Normad just wants to leave him for dead. And then that's when Normad like sets them up and frames them, and they get fired. So we go from there to like just them hanging out for a while, and that's when he sees his ex-girlfriend, and then he just sings the shimmy slide.
And she can't resist him.
Yeah, and he gets back with her. Multiple sex scenes. And then all of a sudden they get married,
And more multiple
and
sex scenes.
yeah, and then more sex scenes. Um, and then she tells him the story like, oh, I got these guys from a satanic cult now. They tied me up, and then I broke free and got away, and they've been after me. And then all of a sudden, she sees a picture of Normad that's on his mirror in his bedroom. Why does he have a picture of Normad in his bedroom?
Because he looks at him every night and thinks of revenge and killing
He's
him.
like, that bastard. And then she's like, oh my God, that's him. Like, the judge or that guy was the leader of the cult that killed the baby. And he's like, no way.
We're gonna do something about this.
We gotta do something about this. And he hop on his motorcycle, take off. Normad's goons go and run him off the road. They crash, and Cindy dies. And then Rick is like, I gotta get even. I'm gonna get even for you, which was an alternate title to this movie when it was recut. And then we get a short training montage
Yep.
where he's
was
like punching that body bag. It's extremely short, but then he just instantly knows where Normad is and where like this cult building is at.
Mhm.
And he shows up. Oh my gosh. Oh, we find out in her funeral too that her name is Cynthia.
Yeah, that
And they
was
keep calling
annoying.
her Cindy.
Yeah.
That was weird. Um, all this is I'm explaining right now. After they get married and they find out that Normad is the cult leader, this all happens in like the last 10, 15 minutes of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had her being killed should have been done closer to the beginning of the movie, to build a plot. So he goes full on Rambo, and like you said, he's shooting a bow and arrow and killing people.
Which, hold on, real quick comment on that.
Yeah.
That was the worst shooting of a bow I think I've ever seen in a movie. Like,
Oh yeah, for sure.
he maybe pulled it back halfway.
Yeah.
Like, did nobody on that set know how to shoot a bow and arrow? Did nobody
not.
watch Rambo?
Right?
Just watch the movie Rambo and look at how he does it and try to do the same thing.
Right.
Oh my gosh, that made me so mad.
Oh gosh. And then he like Normad's doing a bunch of coke apparently by himself after he does his drug deal, and he shoots the drug dealer and the drug dealer's girlfriend. And that was pretty awkward and terrible too.
Yeah, well, that was funny because he thought the drug dealer was killing his men when it was actually Rick,
Yeah.
and so it like put Normad into a frenzy, and so he just killed the drug dealer and his guys, thinking that they were the problem.
Oh, and Rick's shootout in that hallway that was for some reason lit up with blue and pink lights. That was really weird and horrible. And he's an amazing shot too, by the way. But then we get Normad like doing coke in this room that he does the sacrifices in, and Rick just instantly finds it, and he's like, "Surprise! You didn't expect to see me here, did you?" And like I delivered that with more passion than he did.
You did.
And it's like Susie says that, like all of a sudden his henchmen Scar and Fabio come out of nowhere and just like take him off.
They like pop up from the ground. They're like, doink, like, oh,
Yeah.
we gotcha.
And then they take Rick off, and then Finney saves him, and then Finney gets hurt again, of course, because that's all he does. He gets drunk and hurt in this movie. And then he just like pops up again. It's me again. Oh, hi, Normad. I noticed that too with this movie, that there's a lot of those like from The Room where it's like somebody walks in and you instantly acknowledge them.
Yeah.
But he's like, it's me again. You're the kind of puke that makes the world decay. I'm like, what?
Yeah, that was horrible. Well,
And then they have this awkward fight.
Well, to start that fight is Rick, ex-cop, professional killer and everything, has a gun on Normad, and he lets Normad approach him.
The briefcase.
and hits him with the briefcase before he pulls the trigger. Like, dude, oh,
Dude, and he's holding the gun down at his hip.
and it's just like, dude, you're supposed to be like this badass who can do all these things, and then you let somebody pull that move on you. Like, oh my gosh, this just
Yeah.
make up your mind. Either be the best at something or just admit that
Be
you're like a
incompetent.
doofus. Yeah.
Like, yeah, either be Jackie Chan or Chris Farley in Beverly Hills Ninja. But then they have like this really awkward fight scene where Rick ends up stabbing Normad with his own knife, and then he dies. He's like, "I'll see you in hell."
And
Oh
his
gosh.
I will say this: Normad was not too bad of an actor.
No, he
He
wasn't awful. I just said that his voice was raspier than Jesse Ventura's
yeah, he
and the coach from Major League.
he did he was one of the better actors in this movie. Nothing like amazing or anything, but like if you're judging performances, he was one of the better ones. But I will say that his death scene or the death that he portrayed was one of his worst performances in the movie.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, and if you guys want to see that, go to YouTube. I put up a clip of it. I had to after I saw it. Um, you know who he kind of reminded me of was Robert Loggia's character in Scarface,
Oh
the guy
yeah.
who was Tony's boss.
Mm-hmm.
That's N as in no way, that's Normad. Oh, as in oh my god, that's Normad.
R as in, are you kidding me? No.
Rick, I'm going to hit you with a briefcase. It's Normad.
Really, everyone, look over there. It's Normad.
Oh gosh. And then after that, like we get a scene of Rick at at the cemetery
Mm-hmm.
talking to Cindy, putting flowers down, and the terrible acting nun comes up and she's like, "Rick, can I get a ride home?" And he's like, "Well, you know, I'm kind of busy here mourning my dead wife." And she's like, "No, I need a ride home." And he's like, "Okay, just give me a few minutes." She's like, "I think you should give me one now, basically." And I'm like, "What is wrong with this woman?" And he's like, "Okay, I guess I can come back." And then he like takes her home, and then he walks in. She's like, "There's someone here that really wants to see you." And it's freaking Cindy. Like, she's not dead.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is the worst ending. This is the dumbest ending I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And it's like, they were there at the funeral. Like, Rick and Cindy's mom and Cindy's friend and Huck were all there. What the hell did they bury?
Well, besides that, like they made it seem like Rick knew that Cindy died when they had the motorcycle accident. So I'm like, how stupid is Rick that he didn't realize that Cindy was still alive?
And she was just knocked out.
Yeah.
No, she just has brain damage now.
Brain damage.
She's paralyzed from the waist down because you shook her around. Oh my gosh. Oh, one funny thing I saw because I was watching somebody's review of this
Hmm.
on YouTube that they pointed out that I didn't notice. Did you notice on their wedding night, right before the gratuitous sex scene, he's drinking a glass of champagne, and instead of reaching over and setting it on the nightstand that's right there, he hands it to somebody off screen.
No, I did not
Did you
notice.
see the dude's hand comes out and grabs the glass from him?
No, dang it.
I know, because I saw that clip the guy showed. I guess I could tell you because he's not like a huge creator, but his channel is called Fanboy Flicks, and he just does terrible movies. He's got like a series called Weird Movies with Mark.
Okay.
So yeah, go check that out. He's funny. He's a Canadian guy, and he uses green screen a lot.
Hey.
Yeah, and like puts himself into scenes. It's pretty hilarious. But that's how I found out about this movie to add to the list.
That's funny.
So I
Well,
went back and watched his review of it, and yeah, that I didn't notice the handing the glass to a guy off screen because that was hilarious.
Well, talking about the champagne real quick, in multiple of the graphic scenes, of course, since this movie is called Champagne and Bullets, they had champagne. And I thought it was hilarious that several times through they were just like, okay, now you gotta take a drink of the champagne in the middle of this. And then Rick would often drink it, and then there would be this awkward moment where you could tell that Cindy wasn't sure if she was supposed to take a drink next or not.
Yes.
Where she's like, "Are you gonna give me the glass, or are you gonna
Ugh.
just like have me drink from it while you hold it, or are you gonna set it back down?" Like, no communication, no setup or anything, and they're just like,
Oh my gosh. So a few more observations I had with this movie. So the shimmy slide. He starts singing. Everyone's dancing, right? Everybody's talking about how great he is. They beg him to do it. Did that remind you of something? The
"Mm."
Office, Threat Level Midnight, Do the Scarn?
Oh, nice. Yes, actually, I
And I
think while I was watching
wonder
it, yeah,
if the guys from The Office had this in mind when they did that.
that
Because it's so
is.
similar. Because they're like, oh, come on and do it. And he's like, I don't do that anymore, Michael says. And then they do the Scarn, and everybody's like dancing and celebrating.
Yeah, and it was funny too because they had I think they had more people in the satanic cult scene than they did in the bar scene when they were supposed to be dancing to that.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, dude, how can you not get more people to show up and be in a bar scene?
Yeah. Seriously. But I mean, granted, the bar did look like somebody's apartment
True.
with arcade games in it. Oh, man. Yeah. Um, Another thing I noticed too, oh, we didn't even mention his knee slappers of a joke
Oh my gosh.
where they go out to eat and Rick's just like mowing down on chips. And a waiter walks up and he knows exactly who Rick is. He's like, oh, it's been a while. And like, and he's like, I got a joke for you. He's like, a woman goes to the doctor and he's like, and in order to do this examination, you have to disrobe. And she's like, okay, but I'm kind of shy. Can you turn the lights off? He's like, yeah, that's fine. And then she takes her clothes off and she's like, where do I put my clothes? And he's like, over here next to mine. I'm like, that's a joke. And then he's like, I got another doctor joke for you.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
Doctor Day.
It was
And I don't
so
even remember what that one was.
it was the parrot one. Was where the guy walks in to a doctor's office and he has a parrot on his head.
Oh, yeah. And he's
Uh,
like, how do I get this guy off my ass?
yeah, the doctor's like, "How can I help you today?" And the parrot's like, "How do I get? Yeah, you need to get this guy off my ass." It's like,
Oh my gosh. And then it's like, this guy is a comedian too. And
he
like, the
probably
waiter's
wrote
just
those
like, oh my
jokes.
Lord. Oh, most definitely. And then after that, we get the awkward girl with the camera. She's like, my
Oh
name is
yeah.
Tamra, and I have a camera. And if
Uh,
you love her, you'll want a picture of her. But I was like, why is she singing?
it made me think of. Have you? I can't remember. Have you seen the movie Clue?
No, I
Okay,
have not.
we should watch that sometime.
I have not.
I have not. We should definitely watch that sometime. But there's a singing telegram girl. You may have seen that clip online somewhere. People play it quite often, but there's a singing telegram girl, and she made me think of that, where she's like, "I'm the singing telegram," and then somebody just shoots her. So
Oh my gosh. Oh,
see,
some
oh,
of the
now,
what?
real quick, I'm gonna say
Yeah.
this because we have had a good time talking about this. This was a brutal movie to watch, though, to be completely honest. Like, it is
Oh yeah.
definitely one of those that if you like awesomely bad movies, definitely watch it because it will be something that you could talk about with other people who've watched it. But it is not like some of the other awesomely bad movies where, oh, I want to rewatch that movie.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not, I I don't think I'm ever going to rewatch this movie because you and I have watched it. You and I both can talk about it, and that's honestly good enough for me.
Yeah, I feel like this is a movie that you only watch certain scenes from
Yes,
because they're so ridiculous. Like the shimmy slide, I probably watched that like 5 times this week
sure,
because it
absolutely.
just made me laugh.
Hmm.
Because he's obviously reading from note cards off screen or
Right.
cue cards.
Oh my gosh.
Hot damn, he says at the end. Oh my gosh. There's a lot of continuity stuff in this too. Like all of a sudden he has a mug of beer, and then he doesn't, and then he does, and then he doesn't.
Yep.
The wardrobes, completely ridiculous. He's wearing a velour USA tracksuit at one point, and a rugby shirt that says rugby on it in like four
That
inch
was
letters.
that was awesome.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And then the Van Damme style tank top at the end.
Hmm.
Which is more impressive on Van Damme. Because he actually has muscle mass to him. But man, other things that were funny too. I mentioned like people entering and exiting a scene where it's like, hey, or oh man, I gotta go. There's a lot of those that made me laugh and made me think of The Room. Uh, I like how he's supposed to be, he's a limo driver. He was a cop for 7 years and now he's a limo driver. But he's like taking these, what are supposed to be high school kids on their prom, and they're obviously like 30, and they like go off in the woods to rock a piss or something. I don't remember. And Rick drives off on him and he says, Adios, you Bella Lugosi. I'm like, that's a saying?
Or what about his saying when he bailed Huck out of the jail and the bailiff guy or whatever, the cop at the counter, he's just like, here's a quarter, buy yourself a personality.
Yeah, that's rich coming from him, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh, dude, another thing we didn't mention. Um, Huck gets put in jail from Normad, and he's like sitting in his jail cell, and the janitor comes by, and he's like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" And I'm thinking like, "Oh, it's going great because I'm in effing jail."
Yeah, and I'm
And then like the
profusely
janitor
sweating.
walks off, yeah, and then Huck grabs a bottle of bleach off his cart, and starts guzzling it,
Hmm.
and then they show him in a hospital, and he's like sitting there smoking. I'm pretty sure if he guzzled bleach, like your mouth and your throat would just be burning.
Yeah.
And then, um, that was when the terrible nun is talking to him. But then Rick and Cindy come in, and
Oh, hey,
they're
how's it
like,
going?
"Oh, hey, Huck." He's like, "Yeah, I heard you tried the bleach thing." Like it's something normal.
I think they were trying to play it off as like, oh, this is a known way to get out of jail.
Yeah,
But then I thought it was hilarious too because like they just walk into his room and I'm just like, okay, so they transferred him from being in jail with no bail
yeah.
to a hospital that has no security.
Well, Rick also got the case thrown out because Normad knew Huck. So I'm wondering if like he's set for retrial or something like that, and he was like free to go. I don't know. I don't understand law or anything. So,
Yeah. Well, you definitely are not going
uh,
to understand it from this movie, that's for sure.
oh no, not at all. Yeah. So you tried the bleach thing.
How was that?
Maybe next time you should try the gun thing. That might work better for you. That's the bullets part of Champagne and Bullets. Oh man. Anything else? I feel like I'm missing something there. There's so much ridiculousness in this.
Oh yeah. Well, it's so crazy too because like there is so much ridiculousness, but it feels like out of a movie that's about an hour and 40 minutes. All of it only happens in maybe like 20 and 25 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, because the
Dude,
rest
how
of
about
them,
the Oh, keep going.
oh, I was just gonna say the rest of the movie is just basically crap and boring.
Yeah, for the most part. Um, dude, how about that random rape scene that they threw in this of the
Oh,
bartender? What
yeah.
was that all about?
I don't know. That
Oh,
was,
and then a similar scene with Huck's ex-wife and Normad,
oh,
where he tells
yeah.
her, like, "Oh, you did something wrong. You need to be punished." And then like he's like, "Lay down," and I thought he was gonna like rape her, but then like he makes her. He says lay down, but she bends over the desk.
She's bad at taking
And I'm like,
directions.
okay. And then like he pulls her skirt down and like you see her butt in a thong. And he pulls her thong down and like he spanks her. Then he kisses her butt. And like that was weird.
Yeah.
And then he says something else to her, and then he makes her get on her knees and he starts unzipping his pants. And thank God they went to another scene.
Yes.
Because if that was John DeHart, we probably would have saw everything.
True.
Oh man. Yeah, God, the random rape scene is thrown in somewhere. Oh, another John DeHart saying, "Listen, you polyester puppet," he says to the lawyer
Oh,
after
yeah.
Huck's trial.
That was a good insult right there.
Yeah, that would have like, is that a saying too? Oh my gosh. There's just so many awkward things in this. I think Adiosi Bella Lugosi was my favorite one. I think what might be the worst part about this movie is the music, but it's also the best part.
Yeah. Worst and the best.
So like the score in this, there's a lot of times where just like like all these crazy drum machine solo, and it's like there's no action going on. It was just incredibly distracting most of the time.
Yeah. No, I feel like the action was an afterthought. Like, so much of the focus was on Rick and Cindy and how much time they could have together in their special scenes.
Yes.
And then there's just like, oh man, we forgot this is supposed to actually be a movie and there's supposed to actually be a point to it. So let's
Oh
quick
shit, we need a plot for this movie.
let's quick do some action scenes and then we'll like put it together with duct tape and call it a day.
Oh, another face palming moment that we haven't mentioned. When he's talking to her on a swing, and she tells the whole story about the baby being killed, and he's like, "We'll work through this." He's like, "We'll be okay. We'll work through this." And then she's like, "So, are you still trying to be an actor?" Which reminded me of the, "Anyway, how's your sex life?"
Oh
Talking,
no, yeah.
like the drastic turn. And then he like does his she's like, "Are you still doing that same old monologue?" And then he starts quoting Hamlet and he reads it for like 2 minutes.
Yeah, and he literally though reads it. Like who
Yeah.
what was the point? Like he's not good at acting, so you want to point out that he's not good at acting?
Right.
Like
It's like, are you
if
good
you
at
thought he
things or
was
bad at things? At least be consistent.
yeah, if you didn't think he was a bad actor before, we want to make sure you know. So we're gonna put this in here so that there's no doubt he is a
It's
bad actor.
canon that he's a bad actor.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man. Oh gosh. I think that's pretty much all I've got. You got anything else to share?
I mean, I got some thoughts for final grades and stuff, but I don't think there's
Okay.
anything specific to point out.
All right. So there's no trivia and facts. I already shared the one. Grades though. IMDb and then only the audience from Rotten Tomatoes because there's no critic.
Aw. Um, IMDb 3.
4.1.
Okay. That is better than Hercules in New York.
Yeah.
That's
This is
better
more
than
entertaining
that's
than
better than Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Oh man.
Come on.
See, I don't know
No.
about that one. This was more entertaining than Hercules in New York.
Yeah, I would say that. But Hercules in New York had a clear plot and
True.
multiple people who knew how to act.
True.
Okay. Rotten Tomato audience 29%.
It's 33.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. So I guess I'll go first because I kind of have an idea of what your grade is. So it sounds like I had more fun watching this than you did because I think I'd probably watched it again. I'd probably just fast forward through the sex scene. Um, I mean, at least with The Room, you get the first long sex scene out of the way quickly, where this one is like a barrage of them right in the middle. Um, and I mean, this is definitely awesomely bad. It's got so many things that are just incompetent about it that are funny, and there's a lot of inadvertent humor. Uh, it doesn't have a plot until like the last 10 minutes, and it was just paced terribly. Um, so I mean that cuts back on rewatchability, but it was so bad, and the music was so awesomely bad, especially the shimmy slide just has been stuck in my head all week. I ended up giving it a 3 out of 5
Okay.
because I don't think it's in that. It's not in like the Room Miami Connection tier. It's lower than that, but it's better than things like Rambo, which is one of the first movies we did.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Rock. Well, yeah, my grade is not too su- positive, supportive. I don't know. But I do recognize it for being awesomely bad. And the saving grace for this is the fact that you are correct. Like there are parts of this movie, there are scenes in this movie that will be hilarious and rewatchable all the time. The movie as a whole for rewatchability, no. Um, gosh, like I said, there's probably just 20, maybe 25 minutes of good content from this movie for
hmm
being an hour 40 minutes long. So, um, yeah, that so even though it's an awesomely bad movie, a huge component in my rating is rewatchability. And since this movie is not very rewatchable, I am giving it a lower grade. I'm not plummeting it down to um super low levels. Like, well, we both gave Hercules in New York a 1.
yeah,
And I think we both agree that this movie is more watchable. Shockingly enough, I am saying that is more watchable than that. So I landed on a 2 out of 5. So,
rock.
and like I said, I mean, I really would have been pretty prepared to put it down to like the 1 or the 1.5, but it does have enough elements in it that kind of help it from bottoming out. So,
Rock, yeah, I'd
but
agree with
I
that.
will say this. I will completely say this up front. The things that save this movie absolutely were not because of John DeHart and his performance.
Yeah,
I mean, the action with the bow and a little bit at the end, like okay, a little bit entertaining, but like as a whole, like oh my gosh, dude,
the 5 minutes of action.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like I know we've talked a lot of comparisons with The Room and everything. Tommy Wiseau was a lot more of an entertaining person to watch
Yeah.
than John DeHart.
Yep.
So and like I said, it just really shocks. Well, because that's the thing too is like part of the reason that what helped The Room be as awesomely bad as it was is that it had a purpose. Like you understood what was going on in the movie. There was a point of conflict. You understood the direction it was going. You didn't know exactly where it was going to end, but you knew what was happening. It was about love interests and friendship and like that kind of conflict and everything. And this one, you're just kind of like,
Betrayal. Yeah.
yeah, the whole world betray me.
I fed up with this world.
Oh man.
Oh man. Yeah, and I mean, Tommy is a more charismatic guy
Mm-hmm.
than John DeHart, where John DeHart's just kind of like a robot. He's like Al Gore, this monotone, kind of like a 2x4. But yeah, where Tommy's like just an interesting person.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would definitely agree with you on that. Um, yeah, if you guys are liking the awesomely bad stuff, we have got lots of it in our back catalog, so go check those out, including The Room that we talked about a lot, Miami Connection that I mentioned, Rambo if you're into that, Indonesian ripoffs of Rambo. And we're gonna be coming back next week with an all-time classic and notoriously bad movie, and that is Samurai Cop. And I'm looking forward to watching that one again and getting to hear what your thoughts are on it. So, check us out on social media. We're on every platform. Check out YouTube. I put a couple things up this week, so there's a little more content. Come by next time. We're gonna be talking about Samurai Cop, and until then, as always, be kind and rewind.